Welcome and thank you for joining our first live stream. Sorry for a little hiccup. It was a technical issue, but we sorted this out and now we're live. We're going to talk about AI and IoT in manufacturing with our guests from Asteria and Console Connect. Quick run through our agenda. We will introduce ourselves, say who we are and what we do, and we will talk about our talks on secure and efficiency connectivity, advanced compute power for AI and IoT, AI and IoT synergy and use cases, and we will finish that with the discussion panel. Quick overview with speaker introduction. Christoph Bergendorfer from Managing Director from Asteria Technologies. Edwin Zayas, Director Sales and Partnership, IoT and Data Mobility at Console Connect. Our own Kevin Cochran, Chief Marketing Officer at Vultr. And myself, Kasia Hilbon, Product Marketing at Vultr. A very quick overview of what is Vultr. Vultr was founded in 2014 and have become the world's largest independent cloud provider. Since very beginning, our mission was to expand the high-performance cloud infrastructure to the customers all over the world by making it simple to use, cost-effective, and composable. Our global footprint includes 32 cloud data centers located globally, which reaches 90% of world population within 2 to 40 milliseconds. We deploy 3 million instances per month on our platform. And I did mention that before. We've got really true global team today with us, as Christoph is in Kuala Lumpur, Edwin is based in DC, Kevin is in San Francisco, and myself, I'm in London. So truly global team. Quick run through of our products. Running through the list, we've got cloud compute, cloud GPU with NVIDIA state-of-the-art GPUs, bare metal, managed Kubernetes, managed databases, cloud storage, and networking. We're also super proud with our Cloud Alliance partner program, where we partner with best-of-breed companies like Console Connect in order to offer our customers an option to compose enterprise-grade cloud operations without the cost, complexity, or the vendor lock-in for the hyperscaler provider. Building on that, we also understand that each industry, each use case is unique, so it cannot be solved in the same way. Therefore, through Vultr Industry Cloud offers easy to integrate composable blocks that allow to adapt for industry-specific needs, allow to adapt AI workloads and meet the compliance and regulatory requirements. Our most popular industries are financial services, telecommunication, media and entertainment, healthcare, retail, and recently added manufacturing, about which Kevin will give more details shortly. And with that, I will pass you over to Edwin.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kasia, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for everyone. And thanks for joining this webinar. Thanks for the opportunity to the Vultr team for bringing us together. So, as a way of introduction of Console Connect, we are actually part of PCCW Global. PCCW Global is the arm of Hong Kong Telecom. Certainly, one of the key aspects of what we bring from a connectivity play. We actually have a massive infrastructure when it comes to fiber. We actually manage more than 738,000 kilometers of fiber networks worldwide, more than 46 terabytes of bandwidth. A lot of the enterprises that we work with, basically they work with us in order to connect data centers from point to point. Also, I'll be describing in terms of how we connect also into cloud and the major hyperscalers like the Vultr AI clouds. In terms of what we do is, cloud connectivity. We're one of the leaders worldwide. We do also data center interconnection. So many of our customers basically interconnect data centers with us through our fiber, but also through clouds. low-cost redundancy. I mean, we are presence in 900 data centers worldwide. So having that presence allows us to be very close to the data centers and to the enterprises that we support, meaning that you have the best quality connections and at a lowest redundancy. Also, we have a multi-cloud strategy. So we connect private clouds into public clouds. And also we do it very well in terms of cloud routers. So we can connect multi-point connections to the various clouds that the enterprises are managing. We connect directly to Vultr. We are in 32 data centers with Vultr. So certainly we are actually co-located in some of our data centers, meaning that we provide the lowest latency possible into the Vultr AI servers, and also making those transactions very quickly. So let's get into the next slide, Cassia. So as I described, we are, in addition to our fiber backbone, we actually have 900 data centers that are connected to the major hyperscalers worldwide. In addition to Vultr, as I mentioned, in the 32 data centers that we are co-located with Vultr, we are actually connected to AWS, Azure, and Google as well. There's many use cases here. It's just that we live in a multi-cloud environment. Many of our customers use multiple clouds already in ways for connectivity, for applications, and managing the servers. Many of those can actually interconnect with Vultr as well, basically through our cloud router infrastructure. So you can do from point to multi-point connections, and certainly we can support that as part of our infrastructure. On top of this, we are layering an IoT service. Our IoT service today, our SIM card product, supports more than 1,000 networks worldwide. So this is actually very important because we also see that a lot of our customers are not only connecting to data centers or from data to the clouds, but also they are managing millions of edge devices that need to connect into those clouds. Today, we do that securely. And I'll describe a little bit about our product offerings through Edge SIM, which basically take us from the edge device securely all the way into those cloud infrastructures and applications, bypassing the public internet. So this is actually one of the use cases that I'll be touching in a few minutes now. So I'll turn it into Christoph as a way of introduction now.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the Vultr team for having us today as well. And I represent Asteria. I'm the managing director of Singapore. At Asteria, we are focusing on the application layer. So while Vultr and Console Connect are providing the infrastructure and the data center, so to speak, we provide the layer that's on top of it. We've been a software company, software vendor since 1998. We are headquartered in Japan, and are listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. We have 4 products that we use to make companies more interconnected. We believe in the power and the value of connecting the dots. And our main product is one of the most popular application integration platforms called Asteria Warp. It's one of the most popular ones in Japan, and it's been used by a lot of customers, over 10,000 corporate customers, and it's basically helping on the cloud level to integrate various softwares that are operated within a company. Then we looking into the future, we are thinking not only connecting different types of software with each other, but actually taking on what's happening in IoT and in the real world and connecting that to software as well. This is why we built Gravio. Gravio is an IoT platform that helps commoditizing and connecting IoT input devices and connecting them to AI capabilities, such as AI available via Vultr, and connectivity sensors within various sectors. We have 2 other products. One is called Handbooks, which is more about connecting the company within its members via content sharing platform to share documents and notes and collaborate. And then the Platio one is the data gathering platform for mobile devices. So that's about Asteria. Thank you.
I pass you to Edwin now.
Yeah, thank you, Cassia and Christoph. So let's continue a little bit about what I was describing earlier in terms of who we are as Console Connect. just as a way of history, PCCW Global purchased Console Connect in 2017. And really the goal was to really make networking and connectivity simple for our customers. And that's really the key value proposition that I want to present here, is really that simple connectivity, but also is secure. Everything is running on our private MPLS network. I already described our fiber backbone infrastructure. Everything is layered on that backbone. So we own that backbone. We're not subcontracting that. So we're actually guaranteeing the quality of service and the connectivity that we bring to our customers. Now, as I described, we layer 900 of our data centers worldwide with connectors to the major hyperscalers, AWS, Google, and Azure. We are co-located and supporting Vultr in 32 of our data centers, meaning having that, by being co-located and being close to our customers, we're guaranteeing the best quality connectivity, the best redundancy as well, because it's a global network, and the lowest latency, which is so important. Kevin will be speaking a little bit about the importance of low latency when it comes to AI, access to the AI resources and applications in clouds, and bringing that intelligence back to the edge in a very quick fashion in order for enterprises in manufacturing sector to make quick decisions as part of the processes that they're managing from a daily basis. So now back to Console Connect, really in essence, we have one platform that manages everything, not only your fiber connectivity, your cloud connectivity, but also we're layering the IoT management as part of one tool. That's very important because you have one pane of glass to manage all your connectivity needs and resources worldwide. Like I said, layer 2 and layer 3 connections are visible here as well, so you're able to see everything. Reduce network costs. So by having really an infrastructure of your fiber, your clouds, as well as your IoT as part of one bundle, for lack of better terms, now you can reduce networking costs. It's really one contract and one set of connections that you're managing through one entity. So we are that single entity that can give you that connectivity worldwide, and also, not only the physical connectivity, but also to the cloud connectivity that I mentioned, and also the IoT. It's fully secure. Everything is being really managed by or runs on our private MPLS network. So a lot of the industries, manufacturing being one of them, but many of the ones that Kasia mentioned earlier, they're very regulated. They're looking for that security. And that's very key to our core product offering, is really security from the ground up. So let's go through the next slide, Kasia. So let's talk a little bit about, this is a part where I want to bring a little more about the IoT offer that we have. Before we get there, we manage a layer 3 cloud router as part of our value proposition. We do this because we recognize that a lot of our customers are actually deployed. They're deploying applications in multiple clouds. Certainly, we are able to offer that. And being co-located with Vultr in 32 of our data centers, we give the opportunity for customers to actually come from their data centers or from some of the cloud infrastructure directly into Vultr resources to make quick decisions, quick analytics. As I mentioned earlier, not everyone connects directly via fiber because fiber is not available everywhere. So certainly one of the products that we launched in December is called the Edge SIM. Edge SIM really was born because we married our IoT infrastructure. I mentioned our SIM offers connectivity to more than 1,000 networks, cellular networks worldwide. So we married the IoT product with our cloud infrastructure to really create one product. It's called the Edge SIM. We are the world's only provider of the secure SIM product that goes directly into clouds, bypassing the public internet. Basically, we have set up a design of our SIM offer to be locked down to a private set of IP ranges and also private APNs. And really that allows to go directly from an edge device directly into the cloud resources, Vultr AI analytics, which is very important because you want to keep all that information secure. I mean, traditional IoT deployments, as we have seen it historically, is not only that they go through the public internet, meaning that you have to layer endpoint security software, VPNs, which is very costly. Basically, it's been proven that VPNs have some issues in terms of still security. So, I mean, our product natively can take you all the way from that edge product into the cloud resources in a secure fashion. Customers actually use our product not only for connecting the edge device, but also it's a redundancy play. Many of the primary data centers, run directly to fiber, but certainly many of the equipment on the edge, they have a SIM slot that they can actually use our edge SIM as redundancy in case the primary connectivity is interrupted. They can actually jump into our edge SIM products as a way of redundancy. So very good use case. Certainly putting first our security product. I mean, that's very secure, and that's really the primary value proposition that we're in here, directly to clouds, to the Vultr analytics, and bringing those analytics back to the edge for quick decisions and improving processes. So let's go to the next slide. So yeah, a little bit about bringing all in terms of the value proposition, low cost of redundancy. Certainly having our edge SIM product allows for that additional connectivity to complement the primary connectors, multi-cloud and hybrid cloud support. Certainly with our cloud router, we can go from the edge to multiple clouds. And today, with Vultr AI, I will actually touch base in terms of a use case of how we're actually working on the manufacturing sector and bringing some of those analytics all the way to the edge. Short-term and high traffic flexibility. Our platform is flexible. It's in essence, through Console Connect, we have a network as a service offering to make it simple for our customers. Customers sometimes buy their connectivity for only a few days because they're transferring data between data centers only for a few days. They could actually contract with us for 1 month, few weeks, or years, depending what their needs are. And end-to-end security is very key. I mean, that's core to our value, core to what we bring here, because we own the entire infrastructure. We have that MPLS that I mentioned earlier. So let's get to the use case. That way we can bring this home in terms of real life examples of how we're bringing the connectivity, but most importantly, how we are actually working with Vultr AI to really bring a lot of that intelligence and analytics all the way into the edge. So in essence, it's that secure point-to-point cloud router connectivity. Looking at the left side of the diagram, a lot of enterprises are connecting point-to-point. So they could be that fiber optic connectivity, but also we give them the opportunity to also go data center into clouds in a secure fashion. And that's where the Vultr AI come in play. Going directly into the Vultr applications and resources. Now we can enterprises, in case of manufacturing, they can bring that all the way to the edge devices to make very quick decisions. And in many instances, in the manufacturing plants, it allows the humans to make better decisions. Sometimes there is a room for error there. I mean, we have seen it historically, actually probably this year more than ever. Manufacturing in terms of automotive and airline industry. I mean, these are key industries that are relying on safety, but also they're relying on quality in terms of the product that they're bringing to market. I mean, certainly it's impactful if there's no quality in automotive and airlines. Certainly that's a big concern in the market. So with AI and Vultr, now we're able to bring all the analytics, all that information from point A to point B to point C to ensure that we're not missing any steps of all the quality processes that we're managing and a lot of these, the quality, but also the end product and the processes that are being followed as part of the end-to-end process. And then, so then also, talk about the cloud router. Certainly a lot of the manufacturing plants are connecting, as I mentioned, directly through a fiber link or through a cloud edge port connector. But edge SIM is critical because it brings that redundancy, as I mentioned before. If you have that direct link, you can use edge SIM as a way to connect for a redundancy play. And many of these sensors and edge devices that are running in the manufacturing plants, many of them are going into the cellular IoT networks. So then they can plug in this edge SIM that can go directly from that sensor directly into clouds, into the Vultr cloud, basically do all the processing and analytics and bringing that information very quickly into the manufacturing plant. That way decisions are made in a much quicker fashion, a more productive fashion, and ensuring, which is the most important, that steps are not missed along the way to guarantee a quality product at the end of the process. So I will turn it back to Christoph for the next set of slides.
Great. And thank
Well,
you so
together.
much, Edwin. And, we're so excited to be working with our partners here at Console Connect and Asteria. When you look at transforming manufacturing for AI, there's really two things you need to connect. You need to connect all of your manufacturing facilities worldwide in a safe and secure way. You also need to connect the human beings that are responsible for operating your plants and providing all of the maintenance to make certain that you have no issues operating at peak capacity with the best quality control. In terms of connecting your manufacturing plants, what's core is making certain that you can safely, securely aggregate the operational data that you need to process with cloud GPUs from Vultr to build and train the models that can be deployed globally to actually improve operational efficiency of your manufacturing plant and also power all of the human experiences that enable people to make smarter decisions to operate the plants and provide the maintenance that they need. The next thing is you want to be able to, again, provide all of the cloud infrastructure needed to build, test, and deploy to all of your employees worldwide the actual applications that they need to do their job and do their job smarter. This is the integration of Console Connect with Vultr to provide that global connectivity to get all of the data safely and securely from your manufacturing plants to feed a Vultr GPU cluster anywhere in the world to build, train, and to train, tune, and infer your AI models. This is the partnership with Vultr, Console Connect, and Asteria to provision all of the infrastructure needed to build, test, deploy all of the application experiences necessary to augment the human beings that are actually responsible for making your business a success. So here at Vultr, what we do with our partners here is operationalize an entire pipeline to transform the manufacturing floor for, an AI-driven enterprise. This means first and foremost being able to spin up anywhere in the world the cloud GPU infrastructure needed to train, tune, and deploy models for production inference to actually power your manufacturing plants and power all of the human experiences necessary to drive your core business operations. Here at Vultr, we enable you to take any open source, LLM or custom build your own AI model or connect safely and securely to the entire NVIDIA GTC catalog to take all of their pre-built inference models and easily orchestrate them across all of your manufacturing facilities worldwide. Here at Vultr, we're the only provider that's provisioning top-of-the-line NVIDIA GPUs at scale for training, tuning, and inference everywhere in the world where your manufacturing plants exist. So our model is very simple: any GPU, any scale, and any location, because you're a global enterprise and connectivity matters, and being able to deploy resources where your teams and plants are actually matters as well. But we do more than that. We couple our GPUs with our core cloud compute, because at the end of the day, you still are building, testing, and deploying actually applications that are used by your actual employees in the plant and in the field to make smart decisions and actually run the business. And so we are here at Vultr the only provider that's coupling GPUs and core cloud compute with one integrated pipeline to drive the actual experiences that enable you to power your AI-driven manufacturing processes and AI-driven human experiences as well. And when we're actually integrating that pipeline of training, tuning, and inference, build, test, and deploy for your AI native applications, we're pushing everything out as far to the edge as possible. And what we provide here at Vultr is the serverless runtime. So across all of your manufacturing plants, you're going to be able to have the highest performance and the lowest latency for inferring your AI models and enabling your employees to get quick answers to the questions that they have to actually run the business. And the important part here is to make certain that when we're actually doing this, we're leveraging the connectivity of Console Connect so that you can have security in your data flows to have your model operating at peak performance. So let's just take some simple examples here. So across all of your worldwide manufacturing plants, you have all of the operational data that needs to go into your data warehouse, which may be, in your own colo facility or maybe in an alternative cloud. And all of that data needs to be made available to your GPU clusters. And those GPU clusters must be as closely co-located to your colo center or whatever alternative cloud like a Snowflake or et cetera, where you are collecting your data. This is the benefit of having Console Connect tied to Vultr. If you have a colo facility where you're aggregating all of your data into your data warehouse and say, Lincoln Park in Illinois, through Console Connect and their interconnect across 900 data centers, you can have a direct connect to the local Vultr data center where we have a massive GPU training cluster to access all of that operational data real time and constantly retrain and tune your model. And of course, because your manufacturing facilities are distributed throughout the globe, once that model is retrained or tuned, it can be immediately made available globally to resynchronize all 32 Vultr data centers so that all of your inference requests can be fulfilled as close to your manufacturing plants as possible. Moreover, when you're in the manufacturing plant, latency matters. Because let's take a real-time example, and it's a rather extreme example. What if you detect an anomaly in the manufacturing process? You want to have that anomaly be detected by inferring against a locally run AI model to immediately shut down operations. And again, in the extreme example, let's take the example of a nuclear power plant. Do you want to wait 100 or 200 milliseconds for a round trip for that inference request to some server cluster in North America? Or do you want to locally infer it in Singapore or in Cape Town or, in Warsaw? Latency matters. This is the benefit of Vultr and 2 to 40 millisecond response times. There's a big difference in a nuclear power plant between a 2 millisecond response time and a 200 millisecond response time. It could mean the difference between catastrophe averted. Now, again, that's an extreme example, but when you're getting that real-time data through a secure connection through Console Connect and Edge SIM, you want the inference request to be fulfilled as quickly as possible. Let's take another example. You not only detect the anomaly and you're able to shut down the manufacturing facility, but then before you send out a human being, which is expensive to schedule and resource, you want to first do a visual inspection. You send out a drone. And the drone is going to fly around the manufacturing facility. And it's going to be taking real-time imagery of that actual nuclear reactor. Again, latency matters. Every frame needs to be processed. Is there something in this frame that is anomalous? Yes or no? What is that? Because that data's got to go back to a human operator. If you have bad latency, maybe you missed that hairline crack. And then you get the false signal, which is, it was a spurious anomaly. No need to send out a human. That's not a good idea. So the low latency matters because you want that drone that's flying overhead to be able to detect that anomaly and get that, oh, this is the hairline crack, send out a human being. This is also where you need the power of the connectivity of Console Connect. The drone is not connected on a Wi-Fi. It's connected through a 5G connection, and that better be secure 5G connection, because you don't want anyone knowing that you're flying a drone around trying to detect a crack until you ascertain whether it's real or not, or whether there needs to be a public health alert, because you could cause mass hysteria. So that is very critical, very sensitive data that needs to be secure, that needs to be connected to 5G. When you detect it, then what's got to go back to the human and the Asteria-powered experience is they need to know where the crack is, how much time they need to get there, and they need to know what is all the tools that they need to be able to get there and fix it right the first time to get operations back up and running safely and securely. This is the benefit of having Vultr-powered cloud compute with GPU, because that is an application that you're running, powered by Asteria and powered by core Vultr infrastructure. And again, when that worker goes out there, they might not have a Wi-Fi connection, or if they do, you better have a backup. So this is where you need that 5G connectivity, also provided by Console Connect. And this is what you see here, which is you have a hybrid environment, and you need to have that world-class connectivity with that limited latency, and you need that to span the entire globe. Now, once you actually, again, are able to have that integrated pipeline, once you're able to provide that integrated, connected view of all of your manufacturing plants and facilities, again, that Asteria-powered human experience matters, because when that human goes out to fix the hairline crack in the nuclear reactor, they need to be able to ask a question, and they need to have at their fingertips all of the answers from all of the operational policies and procedures to actually make the right decision and fix it. This is where Vultr, with our edge services, can provide all of the RAG, the retrieval, augmentation, and generated, sorry, early in the morning here, all of the retrieval, augmentation, generation necessary to basically give them that exact right answer, because all of your core operational data has been aggregated, tokenized, and put into a vector database, so that when the human being is like, I got a hairline cracker of this nuclear reactor, I hope I snip wire A or B. You better hope they snip the right wire or use the right paste for the crack. And this is the benefit of leveraging Asteria, powered by Vultr, to basically ask the right question, immediately get the exact right answer, hyper-personalized for exactly what they need to know in that moment to fix the problem. So again, we're very excited to be partners here with Console Connect and Asteria, and I'll turn it over to my fine partner, Christoph, to take it from here.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Okay, great. You've been maybe flying recently on a plane, and you might have noticed that the tip of the wing is slightly kind of bent upwards. So did you know that this is like inspired by the eagle's wings? Because somebody was realizing, oh, if we do this kind of wing form, you know, the drag will be less. Or did you know that some of the modern buildings' aircon systems is actually inspired by termite mounds, you know, because they built, you know, their constructions so they can be very resistant for various different types of climates. Or even if we look, you know, at self-cleaning materials, they are often now inspired by lotus flowers structures. So the reason I'm mentioning these is we can see that a lot of technologies nowadays are actually inspired by nature, and you know, we can't argue with the fact that, you know, there's been millions of years of evolution for how the nature evolved over time. So you know, we can assume that these are pretty good designs. And now, if we even look at the way that AI works, right, it mimics the way that, you know, certain the brain, for example, works as well, or organisms. So, but the reason I'm mentioning this is we can see when we look at IoT and technologies, we can see that it's kind of starting to kind of take more of the shape of nature and organisms as well. So if we look at the factory, for example, in manufacturing, you know, like an organism, and it starts to have eyes, like with camera systems and computer vision. It starts to have hands with robots that can interfere with the real world, you know, mobility with feet, and then a brain, obviously, which is the AI, and that consists inference and does the training. So a system like Vultr system, for example, I would describe is the brain of the system. You know, that's even shared inference across multiple manufacturers, and I would compare that in the kind of natural world almost like a library or like a knowledge bank that we would share amongst humans, for example, where we share inferences amongst different humans. And we would, you know, the school would be where we train humans, is also where we train, you know, AIs as well. So when we look at smart buildings and smart manufacturing and even self-driving autonomous cars, you know, we tend to look at them almost like organisms in the future, and it's moving towards this way that has organisms. Now, the nature of organism means also it can be self-correcting, self-healing, self-improving, and it can detect things like pain before it breaks down as well. Like this is kind of closer to the predictive maintenance concept. So this is one of the things that you know, we ask also, you know, companies is, how do you make your operation more aligned or more similar to like an organism, get inspiration from an organism. So next slide, please. Yeah. So now if you go specifically to IoT case studies in manufacturing, we come across over and over again the same issue, which is the companies say we do not want any of the information that we gather inside our manufacturing plant to have any touch point with any public internet for security reasons. And because that is so important, it's the lifeblood, it's the main vessels of the organism, it's the nervous system of the operating system. You would not want it to touch any open system whatsoever. So often customers choose an edge computing platform which is completely limited to physically be within the factory. And that is, for example, the case that where we and our system integration partners also integrated a retrofitting system for the ASICS Corporation footwear manufacturing production line. And this is one of three cases that I want to go through for where it's very important for IoT, which is retrofitting, right? Because many of the machinery, they cost a lot of money to invest, and then you need to amortize for a long time. So some of the newer technology like AI and IoT have been developing faster than the time was accounted for to amortize the machines. So what you want to do is you want to basically use newer technology to retrofit the existing machine, so you can add layers of functionality, layers of sensing and predicting onto existing machines. And of course, whenever you do that, these are mission critical applications. You want to make sure that they are completely secure, and even their inferences and their data storage, the scalability is also secure in a system like Vultr's, and connected through a secure line like Console connects. So for ASICS, this is one of the cases where we basically use the edge only. But of course, in the future, we would thanks to this new products released by Vultr and Console Connect, it will be possible also to actually fulfill the brief of not touching the internet while still having the scalability and the location independent flexibility. So that's case number one. Case number two, I like to share with you is IoT and AI can drive innovation. So Hilti is a manufacturer of drills and heavy gear. They are known for this case study where they started to get competition from cheaper devices from the Far East, for example, from China, and people would buy the devices there rather than theirs. And then they shifted their business model into instead of selling drills, they start to sell the holes, right? So you pay per hole that you do. For that, you have to turn the drills into IoT devices that are connected, obviously always, and potentially have, are connected to a system like Vultrs, where you aggregate all the data across all the drills, because you can do then all the learnings, and they are all connected with SIM cards like the ones from Console Connect. But what I'm saying here is, if you start thinking of a more outcome based ways of charging charging for services rather than the items, you can come up with completely new business models, just because things are able to connect in completely new ways. And if you wouldn't have the technology to actually count the amount of holes that are being drilled, you wouldn't be able to come up with a business model to charge per hole rather than per drill. So this is just an inspiration for thinking outside the box a little bit, and finding out ways how you can basically make use of the interconnected world and the connectivity possibilities to come up with new business models. Then the third use case is, as we mentioned many times before, also is predictive maintenance. The predictive in the Fortune Global 500 companies, according to this report, there is like 11% of the turnover is actually lost through downtime, unplanned downtime, and that's in the Fortune 500 Global 500 companies. That's $1.5 trillion. So you can imagine these are vast sums of money, and the reason they're so huge is, especially in areas like automotive, where 1 hour downtime can cost $2 million. The reason for that is there's a lot of just-in-time production, right? If all of the parts of a car come from very different places in the world, and you're missing the last screwdriver just to kind of put on the wiper, you can't ship the whole car, right? So everything has to be really just in time, and any downtime will basically compound a lot. So predictive maintenance, collecting a lot of sensor data, sharing them and learning from them, and then being able to detect anomalies in a system like the one that Vultr can provide, that is really, really powerful, and it's becoming increasingly important in a increasingly just-in-time working world. So that's the next slide, please. Yeah. So how about the future? What's going to happen in the future? So one of the things that we notice also is modularity will become increasingly important. When, for example, the COVID pandemic happened, we know that many of the pharmaceutical companies, for example, they were stuck with their manufacturing things, and they couldn't easily change to, let's say, creating vaccines or something like that very easily. So what is now a big trend is, how can we modularize various different parts of the manufacturing process, and then because of that, be able to reconfigure very easily and be more flexible to the markets and to market needs. There are also car manufacturers now. They stopped doing just one model in a row, but they can actually switch out the models, and the manufacturing row is still functioning as normal. So this is also very important if you can find the modules that connect together very easily. Then leveraging cloud as well as edge, as I mentioned also before, that the brain and the inference, the knowledge base, and even also the RAGs that Kevin was mentioning before, the document, the base, the knowledge base of a company inside a system like Vultr's cloud system, leveraging and then leveraging that on the edge, on site with the robot that is doing things on site. These is becoming increasingly important and very, very powerful, and much more scalable than the very siloed approach that we have at the moment. And we see also there is going to be new connectivity patterns. What I mean by that is, I try to make in this diagram, some lines, of course, are in white and some in blue. So that means, like, you don't only, nowadays, often you have like one network, and then you go like, oh, okay, everyone goes on the same network. But in the future, you may have many, many different parallel networks, because they have all different security clearance, let's say, in a way. But then to have those dedicated network, for example, one for the IoT layer, one for the financial transactions, one for this, one for that, makes it much more secure and also easier to manage, because then you don't need to kind of you can have almost independent systems that kind of layer on top of each other, and that is of course where a system like Console Connect can provide, and Vultr can be very, very very valuable. So we see these trends as well. So yeah, this is what I can share so far. Yes.
Thank you very much, speakers. I will maybe short a little bit our discussion panel, and maybe we just get one overall question. What is the overall market opportunities, market growth in manufacturing?
Yeah, I can probably take a stab at that. I've been accessing the recent Kaleido report that talks about the IoT opportunity. 22% actually of IoT deployments worldwide are now going in the manufacturing sector. Certainly, the report actually speaks to the fact that more than 150 million devices will be connected to IoT in the manufacturing plants by 2028. So that doesn't come as a surprise, given all the information that we have shared here. Certainly, especially with nuclear plants and many critical businesses that we have to run, and airlines. Actually, I'm glad that I use airline as an example. Automotive is another one. So basically, it's you need sensors. You need those sensors to really capture as much information as possible from the Vultr AI, analytics, and bring those into the manufacturing plant as quickly as possible. That way, you're not missing the steps, right? I mean, missing steps, lead to a lot of problems, safety issues with airlines or nuclear plants. I mean, they're very critical things that even a recall is very, very pricey, very costly for a lot of these enterprises. So certainly, this is the opportunity is large, certainly growing as we go through the next few years. And really, quality is of the essence when it comes to manufacturing. So certainly, a lot of these analytics, sensors, and AI all combine into a very quality connectivity, low latency, and making those decisions quickly is going to be a big thing moving forward. Anything else from the panelists?
Yeah, maybe I can jump in as well. We've seen the past 10 years of cloud compute. And, that past 10 years of cloud compute has kind of transformed the way we kind of build and deploy applications. And, obviously we were a pioneer of, cloud native, application infrastructure here at Vultr for the past decade and more. But we haven't only scratched the surface of what's going to happen with cloud infrastructure. And here at Vultr, we believe that we're at the start of a next 10-year cycle where the cloud infrastructure of the future is going to be an order of magnitude larger in terms of the scope of deployment. Because now, for the very first time, and I just think the analogy that was provided here today was so great. We're really truly building the autonomous nervous system of our physical operating plants worldwide to power next generation manufacturing processes, and next generation kind of trust and safety in the outputs of those manufacturing processes. And all of that now, for the first time, needs to be intelligent. And that means leveraging GPUs at global scale to actually, help make those real-time smart decisions to better operationalize how we build and produce things in a sustainable way going forward. So we think that the opportunity here is there's a 10-year cycle here. And for those manufacturers listening, being, first mover and rethinking your core cloud infrastructure, your core data infrastructure, your core network infrastructure, and your core digital experiences, is the opportunity to take a leadership position, here in the next 10 years. So yeah, what we saw with cloud compute will be massively dwarfed by the next 10 years in an order of magnitude greater deployment as the autonomous nervous system really comes into play. And it was just a beautiful analogy. And, I hope you don't mind me borrowing that to my fine partner here, but it was just brilliantly presented.
Thank you.
Yeah, can echo that. Perfect. Perfect, Sam.
Christoph, anything else to add?
No, that was perfectly summed up. Just assuming that we become more organism-like sensors, and AI will be at the key at the further development. Well said. Yes, I think so.
That sounds great. I'll move forward now. We, of course, got some perks to give away. So for any free trial for Asteria, contact Christoph at getstarted@gravio.com. For free Edge SIM trial, contact Edwin at ezayas@consoleconnect.com. And if you would like to try Vultr, use code manufacturing for $300 of free credits. And if you've got any questions, please reach out us on the social media. We'll be happy to answer. Our handle is @Vultr. Thank you very much for joining our first live stream, and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank